Then the casting journey for the Palm Beach Story began with Preston Sturges aiming for a unique group of actors who could capture the screwball energy of his script. Claudette Colbert, already established as a master of comedy after her Oscar-winning role in It Happened One Night, was Sturges' ideal for Gerry Jeffers. He convinced her to join by promising witty dialogue and scenes that would let her showcase both comedic timing and charm. Joel McCrea wasn't the obvious choice for Tom Jeffers, but Sturges admired his straight man skills from Sullivan's Travels. And instead of a formal audition, Sturges invited McCrea for an informal reading, spotting the deadpan style he needed to balance Colbert's sparkle. The real challenge came with casting the rowdy supporting players. For Rudy Vallee's role as the earnest millionaire John D. Hackensacker III, Sturges wanted someone who could poke fun at the very type offered by Vallee's persona, and so he handpicked the actor after a brief meeting, trusting his dry wit would translate on screen. Mary Astor landed Princess Centimillia after showing, during a chemistry reading with Vallee, that her quick tongue and playfulness could keep up with the script's rapid pace. William Demarest, a favorite in Sturges' stock company, was easy to bring back as the wise-cracking Weenie King, filling the film with his familiar humor. During rehearsals, the ensemble found rhythms through improvisation, and Sturges often tweaked scenes to play up the cast strengths. By the time the cameras rolled, every leading and supporting actor had settled comfortably into characters chosen not just for their abilities, but for the way their personalities and quirks fit together, creating the sparkling ensemble fans remember so well. Initially, Preston Sturges approached the Palm Beach Story with the playful spirit that marked his best screwball comedies, drawing on his knack for witty dialogue and absurd situations. Having worked in both theater and film, Sturges favored scripts with snappy back and forth exchanges. His background helped him inject rhythm and pacing into every scene. As director, he pushed his cast toward brisk, overlapping conversations and encouraged ad-libs, allowing actors like Claudette Colbert and Joel McCrea to find their own comedic timing. Instead of sticking closely to tradition, Sturges often disregarded strict realism for the sake of farce, using fast plot twists and unlikely coincidences to keep the story moving. Regular collaborators like cinematographer Victor Milner and editor Stuart Gilmore understood Sturges' preference for rapid movement and visual jokes, so their work emphasized tight shots on actors' faces and quick cuts from one witty moment to the next. Throughout filming, Sturges involved himself in every aspect of the production, from costume choices that signaled a character's personality to staging elaborate set pieces that leaned into the chaos of the story. Drawing inspiration from silent comedies and his admiration for directors like Ernst Lubitsch, he balanced sophistication with slapstick. On set, Sturges operated more like a conductor than a strict boss, inviting his cast to play with lines and gestures, confident that their spontaneity would serve the brisk tone he wanted. By trusting his ensemble and giving the crew creative freedom, he forged a loose and lively atmosphere that carried through to the final film, helping the Palm Beach Story stand out as an inspired example of Hollywood comedy from its era. Right from the start, the Palm Beach Story hooks viewers with sharp humor and surprising twists, all wrapped up in a wild ride about marriage and love. This 1942 classic follows Gerry and Tom, a couple struggling with money, as Gerry heads to Palm Beach hoping to find a rich new husband and save both their futures. What makes this movie unforgettable is the way it mixes screwball comedy with real feelings and unexpected turns, showing how sometimes difficult situations can bring out both laughter and sadness. Many facts about this movie are funny, shocking, and even a little sad, so keep watching this video to learn more. For example, did you know that when it was first released, some people were surprised by how bold and quick-witted the main character was, especially for a woman in a 1940s film? Watching the Palm Beach Story with my grandparents is something I will never forget. Their laughter during the train scenes made me realize how sometimes the most difficult problems can still bring joy when you face them together. Have you ever experienced something similar? Can you share a personal story of how this movie has inspired or impacted your life? Think back to your most cherished memory or a personal experience related to the Palm Beach Story. We would love to hear your stories and memories in the comments below. Meanwhile, behind the scenes of the Palm Beach Story, the set design team worked tirelessly to create the lush, elegant world that the audience would see on screen. The film is set in Palm Beach, Florida, but much of the movie was actually filmed on sound stages in Hollywood at Paramount Studios. This meant the production had to carefully recreate the dazzling hotels, ornate ballrooms, and opulent train cars that made up the world of the rich and glamorous. Designers filled the sets with Art Deco details, grand columns, gleaming chandeliers, and even velvet ropes, making the interiors feel authentic and luxurious. Extra attention was paid to lighting, using soft, diffuse light to give the scenes a dreamy, romantic look. For big set pieces like the train scenes, the studio constructed full-size train cars that could sway and shake, simulating movement to create the illusion that the characters were actually traveling. Outdoor scenes often used painted backdrops to stand in for the palm trees and blue skies of Florida, a common practice at the time. Filming was challenging because many extras and moving set pieces had to be coordinated for the fast-paced slapstick moments the director, Preston Sturges, was known for. Crew members used cleverly hidden microphones to pick up quick bursts of overlapping dialogue, a new idea in the early 1940s that would later influence screwball comedies for decades. Some scenes involved intricate timing, where camera operators coordinated with actors to catch everything in one fluid take, which required a lot of rehearsal. In addition, costumes played an important part, with outfits designed to sparkle under studio lights and express each character's personality in exaggerated ways that matched the film's witty, fast-paced style. The use of multiple cameras was rare, but sometimes used to capture improvisational moments, making the hectic pace of the story feel even more alive. Furthermore, wartime shortages affected both materials and schedules, creating logistical headaches for set builders and costumers, who often recycled materials from other films. Even transportation for the cast and crew was a challenge, with gasoline rationing during World War II leading to crowded carpools and altered shooting times. Every detail was considered, from the furniture to the background actors, all working together to give viewers the sun-kissed charm of Palm Beach, while still filming from thousands of miles away. Although the Palm Beach story stands as a classic example of Preston Sturges' cinematic talent, opinions about its overall quality and specific elements reveal a range of perspectives. On one hand, the film showcases Sturges at a creative peak, masterfully assembling a cast whose chemistry drives much of the film's comedic charm. Claudette, Colbert, and Joel McCrea display a delightful rapport. Their work together demonstrates a natural comedic timing that many find enhances the movie's playful tone. The supporting cast, particularly Mary Astor and Rudy Vallee as wealthy siblings, contributes memorable moments that elevate the ensemble's dynamic. In smaller roles, performers such as Sig Arno and Robert Dudley add surprising nuance, showing an ability to make even brief scenes lively and engaging under Sturges' direction. However, the movie structure is not without its detractors. Some feel that the opening prologue and the film's ending don't have the strength of the middle acts. The twist ending involving sudden twin appearances and the idea of multiple weddings leaves certain viewers unconvinced, as these plot developments seem rushed and less believable compared to the otherwise clever and tight writing. Critics who hold this view suggest that Sturges' creativity may have wavered near the finish, leading to resolutions that feel tacked on rather than organic. This sensation is heightened by the late introduction of twin siblings, which, for some, appears to be a device used more for tying up loose ends than for advancing the story or character arcs in any meaningful way. Nevertheless, the film is widely appreciated for its technical and performance details. Throughout, Claudette Colbert demonstrates a unique on-screen presence, skillfully adjusting her positioning so her preferred side is shown, reflecting the attention to detail that both actors and director brought to the project. The resulting visual consistency adds to the film's elegance, even if some viewers only notice it subconsciously. Many fans and critics agree that, while the Palm Beach story might not surpass Sturges' top achievements like Sullivan's Travels or The Lady Eve, it retains a special place as one of his finest comedies. Despite reservations about elements of the story's conclusion, there is general agreement that the cast's energy, the sharp dialogue, and the spirited direction make this film effective both as entertainment and as a showcase of screwball comedy. It's most sophisticated. Throughout the Palm Beach story, the musical score acts like an invisible character, weaving humor and emotion into each scene. Composer Victor Young, who already had a talent for crafting memorable melodies, created a soundtrack that mirrors the film's playful and unpredictable tone. The songs cue the audience into the growing tension and joy between the characters, In fast-paced scenes, the music moves quickly, with snappy rhythms and bright orchestration, helping the energy on screen feel even more lively. When the story becomes romantic or sentimental, Young softens the pace, with gentle strings and tender tunes that give the audience a chance to feel the deeper emotions beneath the film's witty surface. Musicians working on the project recalled director Preston Sturges' insistence on keeping the music light, never overpowering the sparkling dialogue, yet always present enough to highlight sudden twists in the plot. The jazzy numbers reflect the spirit of the early 1940s and fit perfectly with scenes set in elegant hotels or rollicking parties. The score even mirrors the screwball quality of the narrative, shifting as quickly as the film's changing situations. Young and his orchestra understood that the music could make the most chaotic moments feel fun rather than stressful. Many scenes benefit from a careful back and forth between silence and music, building anticipation before a sudden burst of melody. Every note feels like it serves the story directly, guiding viewers through the madcap journey of the main characters without ever distracting from their struggles or joys. The soundtrack has since become known for its subtle humor, graceful transitions, and careful balance, drawing listeners into the world of the Palm Beach story and leaving a memorable impression long after the film ends. First, Mary Astor stands out not only for her work on screen but also for her writing. She wrote an autobiography titled My Story, offering insights into her experiences and personal life. During award season, she received the Best Supporting Actress Oscar for her performance in The Great Lie. Her acceptance speech was notable as she thanked Bette Davis, a well-known co-star, as well as the composer Pyotr Ilyich Tchaikovsky, which showed her appreciation for those who influenced her craft from both the acting and music worlds. Astor's contributions are matched in dedication by Rudy Vallee, who played a major role in his own musical legacy. He co-wrote the long-standing theme song Vagabond Lover, which became central to his identity and career. This song also lent its name to his first movie project released in 1929. Both Astor and Vallee positioned themselves as versatile artists, crossing between acting and other creative pursuits, making significant impacts outside of their main film roles. Suddenly, the fast-paced opening scene of the Palm Beach story throws you into the whirlwind life of Tom and Gerry Jeffers as they dodge creditors and misunderstandings in a New York apartment. Preston Sturges stages this confusion with whip-smart edits, rapid-fire dialogue, and energetic tracking shots, making the audience feel caught in the chaos alongside the characters. Claudette Colbert's performance as Gerry is especially sharp. Her expressive face and impeccable timing make her every movement both comedic and heartful. Lieutenant cinematographer Victor Milner uses tight framing here, pulling viewers into the small space that feels even more restrictive thanks to the stressed characters. Moving to the scene at Pennsylvania Station, Gerry's attempt to escape by train becomes a showcase for Sturges' skill in blending screwball comedy with romance. The sequence is crowded and kinetic, with the supporting cast of the Ale and Quail Club adding slapstick energy. Joel McCrea's Tom follows in desperate pursuit, and his understated, deadpan delivery contrasts perfectly with Colbert's playful exasperation. The way the camera captures shifting expressions on the packed train brings out the confusion and surprise, as if the viewer is an eavesdropper among the passengers. Later at Palm Beach, Colbert's Gerry encounters Rudy Vallee's John D. Hackensacker III at a lost-and-found counter. Vallee's naive, straight-laced millionaire brings a calm oddness to the proceedings, and his stiff posture and deliberate speech add layers of absurdity. Director Sturges uses deep focus and wide compositions to highlight the contrast between Gerry's resourcefulness and Hackensacker's awe of her. In interviews, Sturges described wanting the movie to feel constantly off-kilter, with the characters always a step behind fate. Colbert once said she loved how Sturges let her improvise little gestures and reactions, giving life to otherwise minor moments. The yacht scene, where Gerry must dance between truth and lies, stands out for its blend of glamour and awkwardness. The lighting sparkles, Colbert's gown gleams, and the gentle swaying of the boat underscores how these characters are adrift, not just at sea, but in their relationships and ambitions. The ending sequence, a wild twist in which everyone is paired with the wrong partner, leaps into joyous farce. Overlapping dialogue, split-second timing, and the quick-cut reveal of identical twins crank up the absurdity, fulfilling Sturges' desire to break conventions and leave the audience delighted yet slightly dizzy. Each iconic scene mixes sophisticated comedy with genuine heart, drawing from the lead actor's superb timing and Sturges' belief that chaos is as necessary to love stories as romance itself. Moving on to the cast, Claudette Colbert later built a strong friendship with fellow actress June Allyson after they worked together on another film several years later. Their bond grew so close that Colbert became the godmother to Allyson's daughter, Pamela Powell, reflecting personal connections that extended off the set. Meanwhile, Victor Potel's contributions to film were not limited to acting. During the transition from silent to sound films, he worked behind the scenes, directing dialogue, and even writing stories and screenplays for different productions in the 1930s. This included overseeing dialogue for The Big Chance and contributing to both the story and script development of other projects during the early years of sound film. Colbert, beyond her performance roles, was even offered the opportunity to direct as well as act after another later release, but chose not to pursue directing. These paths for the actors show a blend of professional collaborations that sometimes turned into lasting friendships, and, in Potel's case, a deep engagement with the development of early sound cinema that stretched beyond the spotlight. During the early 1940s, the Palm Beach Story brought something light and witty to American screens, entertaining people in difficult times. Audiences connected immediately with its sharp sense of humor and clever twists, as well as the strong and independent female lead played by Claudette Colbert. The movie poked fun at high society, marriage, and the pursuit of wealth, inviting viewers to laugh at the differences between people from old money, the working class, and the rich upstarts of the era. The film's playful approach to relationships, especially the way Colbert's character takes matters into her own hands, challenged traditional ideas of marriage and gender roles that were common in earlier decades. As the story unfolded, people recognized pieces of their own lives and struggles, especially since many experienced hardship and tried to make the best out of tough times. The film's catchy dialogue, madcap chase scenes, and screwball humor worked their way into pop culture, inspiring other comedies for decades to come. Later films and television shows borrowed similar clever banter and comedic tension between couples, and the Palm Beach Story's reputation as a classic only grew over the years. Its cheeky satire and creative storytelling kept people talking, and film critics continued to discuss its sly critique of social climbing, marital expectations, and the idea that happiness could be engineered by cleverness and luck rather than by following all the usual rules. By highlighting how people strive for better lives and sometimes have to play along with society's expectations, the Palm Beach Story resonated with anyone who ever felt stuck by circumstances or dreamed of something more. Moving through the story, certain cast connections stand out. William Demarest, known for steady supporting roles, has a unique link to classic American cinema. Earlier, Demarest appeared in The Jazz Singer in an uncredited role, and later he showed up in 2 films about Al Jolson, including scenes recreating moments from The Jazz Singer. While Demarest is one of the few actors to bridge both films, Al Jolson himself appeared as well, playing himself in some of the long shots. Meanwhile, production faced challenges, particularly with Mary Astor. She had a strong reputation for her previous screen work, but she struggled to adapt to Preston Sturges' specific brand of fast-paced comedy. Astor later reflected on how difficult she found the dialogue style, explaining that she couldn't imitate the rapid, high-pitched delivery Sturges wanted for her role. That dynamic between director and actress caused some delays during filming. On a lighter note, the film contains a clever in-joke. The character John D. Hackensacker performs the song Goodnight Sweetheart, a tune popularized in the 1930s by Rudy Vallee, the actor playing the same character. This type of inside reference was typical for Sturges, who often worked small nods and jokes into his movies, adding layers for audiences familiar with the wider entertainment world of that era. Meanwhile, when the Palm Beach Story hit theaters in 1942, both critics and moviegoers found themselves charmed by its blend of fast-paced comedy and sophisticated wit. Critics from publications like the New York Times praised the film's clever script and sparkling performances, particularly highlighting Claudette Colbert's effervescent charm and Joel McCrea's understated delivery. Preston Sturges, who wrote and directed the movie, was singled out for his sharp dialogue and inventive storytelling, confirming his reputation as one of Hollywood's brightest comedic talents. Audience reactions matched the critical enthusiasm, with people embracing the movie's zany twists and romantic complications during a time when laughter was in high demand due to the ongoing war. Despite this warm reception, the film did not snag any Academy Awards or nominations, which some found surprising given the caliber of the writing and acting. Still, the lack of official awards did little to tarnish the reputation of either Sturges or his cast. Instead, the Palm Beach Story's quick humor and memorable scenes continued to solidify Sturges' place among Hollywood's most celebrated comedic directors, while Claudette Colbert's lively performance boosted her already thriving status as a leading lady. Over the years, the film's smart comedy and light touch have helped it earn a loyal audience, ensuring it remains well-loved among classic movie fans and drawing praise from modern critics who look back fondly on its enduring appeal. After producers saw one actor's standout work on set, Paramount decided to sign Rudy Vallee to a long-term contract, marking a shift in his Hollywood career. Meanwhile, biographical information about Joel McCrea, one of the film's stars, is detailed in the respected Scribner Encyclopedia of American Lives, showing his significance both in this production and in the broader context of American cinema. During shooting, the schedule experienced delays, with filming wrapping up a full week later than originally planned, which increased expenses. The cost of making the project reached around $950,000, which in those days was a considerable sum, and reflected the scale of talent and resources involved. As the production moved through these obstacles, it demonstrated the unpredictable nature of the studio system, where even careful planning could lead to changes in timeline and budget. The consequences included new opportunities for actors and more attention to the roles each cast member played, since studios often made casting decisions based on performances that exceeded expectations. Details about the actors' careers, combined with production challenges, give insight into how the film industry worked during this period, with both personal achievements and behind-the-scenes changes shaping a movie's legacy. During the filming of the Palm Beach Story, director Preston Sturges kept the set lively by encouraging improvisation, which was unusual for the era. Claudette Colbert, who played Gerry Jeffers, frequently found herself laughing between takes, especially when working opposite Joel McCrea, whose dry sense of humor kept the mood light despite the tight shooting schedule. On more than one occasion, the actors had such trouble keeping straight faces during the fast-paced dialogue that multiple takes were needed, with Sturges laughing just as much behind the camera. Meanwhile, Mary Astor's performance as the quick-witted Princess Centimillia was inspired by her real-life wit. She often ad-libbed lines that Sturges liked so much, he kept them in the final cut. The script was filled with Sturges' clever wordplay, which sometimes challenged the cast to deliver lines rapidly, and Sturges would reward them with rounds of applause if they nailed the delivery. Sturges was fond of inviting friends onto the set, so it wasn't uncommon to see famous faces from Hollywood social circles mingling off-screen. The scenes on the train, which seemed so cramped and chaotic, were made even more complicated by the elaborate camera setups squeezed into tiny spaces, with crew members contorting themselves out of the line of sight. Cast and crew sometimes joked about needing a roadmap to keep track of the storyline's twists, since the plot moved so quickly and included such a wild cast of supporting characters, from the Zanny Ale and Quail Club to the millionaire John D. Von D. Hackensacker 3. Instead of taking long breaks, Sturges kept the energy up with quick lunches, and the cast often ate together, leading to a camaraderie that bled into their performances. Off camera, Colbert was careful to never let her hair get messed up before scenes. She was meticulous about her look, and her dedication paid off in the film's glamorous shots. During downtime, veteran actors would share stories from silent film days, giving the younger crew members a feeling of Hollywood history in the making. Today, the Palm Beach Story stands out as a clever and witty screwball comedy that still feels lively, thanks to its fast-paced story and sharp dialogue. Directed by Preston Sturges, it helped shape the comedy style of the 1940s with its chaos, oddball characters, and undercurrent of satire about love, marriage, and social class. After its release in 1942, other filmmakers picked up the pace and pattern of its quick banter and zany plots, using those elements in their own romantic comedies for decades to come. Characters like Gerry and Tom influenced how writers would create more independent female leads, pushing against old-fashioned roles and showing that women on screen could be just as funny, ambitious, and unpredictable as men. Meanwhile, the film's absurd scenarios, such as a wild train ride with billionaire huntsmen, inspired countless movies and TV shows to include exaggerated comedy set pieces. Behind the scenes, the Palm Beach Story also changed how directors and writers thought about blending romance and comedy, encouraging more mixing of genres and daring plot twists. Even the film's ending, which playfully breaks the rules of storytelling, would influence later films to try their own surprising finales. Its humor and style left a mark on Hollywood's golden age, and the legacy of its charming mix of love, money, and misadventure can be seen in movies even today, making it a touchstone for anyone interested in the evolution of cinematic comedy. After watching the Palm Beach Story from 1942, many people find themselves thinking about how movies used to be made and how they felt watching this special kind of screwball comedy. Some remember seeing it for the first time when they were young, laughing at the fast-talking characters, or being amazed at the fancy train ride that seemed like pure Hollywood magic. Others have felt the impact of Claudette Colbert's charm, or the goofy but lovable performance from Joel McCrea, and these performances might have set a high standard for what they look for in comedies even today. Old movies like this often remind viewers of the first time they understood that a film could be both clever and silly, or bring back memories of watching it with family or friends during a slower, quieter time. Some notice how Preston Sturges' sharp writing slips jokes and ideas past the censors, making them respect the movie on a different level. Maybe the movie has changed your idea of what a romantic comedy can be, or maybe it simply made you smile when you needed it most. If you have a story about why the Palm Beach Story matters to you, or how it shaped the way you enjoy movies, please write it in the comments and join the conversation with others who love old cinema. If you want to see more stories and discussion about old films, like, share, and subscribe for more cinematic exploration.